This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes, I don't like that. You're 100% right.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It is Wednesday, May 22nd. We are live, and we are talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Stephanie, Tori, Brandon, and I'm Sam. Let's get started. Well, dangerous, severe weather ripped across the Midwest. More than 30 tornadoes damaged homes in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri yesterday. The Storm Prediction Center says there were more than 130 tornadoes in the past 5 days alone. Here's how one survivor described it.
We were in bed, and then the alarms were going off. So my husband and me, first thing to do would be to get the kids. We got the kids and make sure they're okay, and then we got them and put them in the hallway, and we got blankets and put them on top of us, and just huddled together.
You feel her fear, and now flooding is a major concern as high waters have closed roads across central Kansas. Going back to her, I mean, thoughts and prayers to everybody in the Midwest. If you're watching in the Midwest, please write in, share your experience. We are thinking of you. But you sense her fear.
Yeah.
There's been so many different natural disasters, I feel like constantly, that we're reporting on this show. Which one do you have any experiences with specific ones? I know it depends on the region that you grew up in. And
yeah, exactly.
What do you feel?
I think it's your childhood and the region you grew up with. So I had terrible hurricanes, excuse me, in Washington, D.C., and trees would fall and electric lines would go up. So I have a hurricane fear. I don't like the lightning. I don't like the sound. And I think it's really when you were a kid, exactly, what did you grow up with? That's mine.
Yeah, I was only, about 100-something miles away from you in Charlottesville growing up in Virginia. We would get the end of a hurricane or some tornadoes. But Stephanie, is this something in the UK? Like
no,
nothing?
I've never experienced any. I've experienced earthquakes when I've been in Asia, but I've never experienced an earthquake in England. I've never experienced a tornado in England. I've never experienced none of this.
That is unbelievable.
We don't have any of it. We don't have any of it.
Still in the middle of the night, I experienced the 7.1 earthquake. A lot of people know it from like the World Series, San Francisco, Oakland.
Oh yeah.
But the epicenter was actually in my hometown, the Loma Prieta quake, so in Santa Cruz. So I still, in the middle of the night, I'm like any little noise, and I have to remind myself, oh, I'm in Denver. It's okay because there's no earthquakes in Denver. Yeah. But boy, I remember that day. I was in 4th grade, and it's horrifying.
It's traumatizing.
So I know how we can all have empathy for your fear to that poor woman speaking, and I'm so glad that she is okay. I know not everyone is so lucky. Yeah. Well, let's move on to this next story. McDonald's is facing new allegations of widespread sexual harassment. Employees have filed 23 complaints with the American Civil Liberties Union, working with the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. Workers allege discrimination and sexual harassment, including inappropriate touching, indecent exposure, lewd comments, and requests for sex. A McDonald's spokesperson declined to comment on the filing, but the CEO said, quote, McDonald's is committed to ensuring a harassment and bias-free workplace. Tori, you are our legal eagle, and you, I think, first brought up the whole Time's Up movement to us, that this would be a legal defense fund because we associate Me Too with Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein, corporations. Finally, we're seeing it kind of trickle down to protect everyday workers.
Yeah, Time's Up was started really for migrant women in the farming industry because nobody was bringing it up for them. It's money that can be used for legislation and representation of lawyers because you can't be a McDonald's worker and get a fantastic lawyer. So this is what the Time's Up director said. Sharon Tahani says, it's a brutal reality across the fast food industry. 1 in 4 workers, especially women of color, will experience sexual harassment as routine part of their job and have to decide between telling someone and getting a paycheck. So they said there's a lot of fear, and they will penalize you if you report it.
But fear of what?
Of being penalized, of being fired.
Why not go to the police? Why would you go to the manager if that's the manager who's having these
Because the police will tell you to take it up with your HR department.
Yeah, the police aren't going to go and step involved over an allegation.
But if someone's touching you, if we're at work and someone touches me and I go to the police officer and report inappropriate touching, that has nothing to do with HR.
First of all, I love where you're coming from, but I got groped so many times as a waitress, and I would go to our security guards, and they would look to see who the client is, and this was in a nightclub, not like in a typical everyday restaurant. But the security guard would look and you go, oh, okay, that's a good client, and it would get dismissed, thrown under the rug.
Not police officer.
But
the police officers make arrests to these sort of things.
This is
you see where I'm going with?
Yeah, just unfortunately.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that's.
I think this is a clear showcase of exactly what's different between men and women and what we all go through and what a man does not go through and obviously cannot comprehend.
Yeah, they would tell us.
I've been groped. I've been touched.
But if I've had someone say something to me, they didn't touch me, but they made me feel uncomfortable, I can't call the cops on that.
Yeah.
And I'm really having a struggling environment every work day.
And you're also fearful that that you will be painted somehow as the difficult one, and then you'll get less shifts. I've seen it happen.
And one thing I'm really upset with McDonald's with is how they're now coming out with an anonymous hotline. This should have been put in place because this is something that's been going on for a couple years now. You should have had that put in place. So
agreed.
About to get Mick hit with money.
Good one.
Ooh.
That was terrible.
It was horrible.
That was awful.
Horrible.
Oh, what a pickle.
I can't. I can't. Today, people are celebrating Quentin Tarantino's 9th film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It premiered at Cannes yesterday and received a 7-minute standing ovation. That's a long ovation. The movie is set in the 1960s Hollywood and has a star-studded cast, including Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. Now, Sharon's sister, Deborah, says Margot did a beautiful job and, quote, captures Sharon's sweetness very nicely. Margot isn't the only big name in the film. There's some other big stars, including Kurt Russell, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Dakota Fanning, and Al Pacino, and even the Luke Perry, who passed away earlier this year. This will be his final role in a film.
What a film to go out on as well. What an honor to work with such an amazing cast.
It's true.
I love Quentin Tarantino. He is an icon in the film industry, but he treats his women in those movies absolutely disgustingly.
There is
we know that.
This is fact. This is fact.
There's a debate going on in the film world.
But you'll also hear people like Uma Thurman stand up and say he gave me my career.
He gave her career, but he also pushed it to nearly.
Alleged or not?
I know this is true. This is something that's openly discussed. So Quentin Tarantino very much believes in getting really into the character and in the moment. So he will strangle you on set to choke you and spit on you. He's actually strangled Uma Thurman with a chain and spat in her face because he didn't feel the other actors were really getting the reaction.
So he's a method director.
Or is he a misogynist? Now the other side is you have Kill Bill, a great feminist trilogy, and you have Jackie Brown, and you have strong women in all of his films. So, but there is a debate. Is he a feminist or misogynist? Because the women are often violently injured and killed.
So
how does this, please bring some levity to this, Sam, because right now what you're saying, I hear balance. I hear balance in terms of people who like his work, who don't like his work. It's just like in the athletic world. Some of us like that coach. Some of us will be like, I hated that coach. And this is what I'm hearing right now.
That's a really good point. When you have consensual adults, if it is consensual, I know that you can also debate whether or not it's an abuse of power because he's the director and there's a lot of starlets out there. However, if it's a consensual relationship and that actor feels that that somehow allows them and helps them get into that character, who am I to judge him?
Exactly.
If it's an abuse of power, and I think that's where we have to tread carefully because we don't know. We're not in those individuals' minds. But if it's an abuse of power, I'm with you, Stephanie. That's a horrific display of misogynistic behavior, but we don't know.
Yeah, but remember when Uma
some actors might prefer it. We don't know.
It's just when Uma got in the car and said, I don't feel safe, and he made her drive it. Yeah, and she got a horrible accident.
She said she nearly died, and she said she was screaming at him in the hospital saying, you nearly killed me, and he was like, we got the scene. So it's hard.
Good conversation to have.
I would like to hear some male actors come out with that as
That's fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's get this last story in. If you think your last breakup was bad, this one may take the cake. This New York man discovered his ex, who is a New York City police officer, by the way, allegedly hired a hitman to kill him. Here's what he said about it on GMA.
I didn't want to believe it, but apparently it's true. He fed stage to my death. They had me sit in my car. They put glass on the floor and all over me, and had me hunch over into the passenger seat.
This is horrifying. Again, all alleged, but if this woman allegedly not only had a hit out for him, but his teen son, I would be out for blood.
And that's not her daughter. She's just, I honestly think this is extremely concerning, and I think we see this a lot with positions of power, really sadly. We see pedophiles that become teachers or work in monasteries because they have access to children. We see police officers that I really do believe in the United States are racist so that they can do obscene things to people that they pull over for reasons that don't even exist. And I think this is another example of that, and I think she's very disturbed, and
she needs to be. This is a psychopath. I hate that she's a New York police officer or former.
Absolutely, because in 2017 she was the precinct officer of the month. So I wonder, Tori, what could have happened from then till now?
Or did she hide it? Or did she?
I think there's a plan.
She was born with this. That's a psychopath. That is a sociopath. And let me just say really quickly, they get along in society very, very well. You can be a functioning sociopath and you would not know.
Scary.
So it is scary, and we've got to be very vigilant about our children.
I guarantee she works within the legal situation. She knows everything that the police will look at.
Scary.
She will have planned this for a long time.
I'm so happy that they caught it. Again, it's alleged. We're still waiting to see all the details unfold.
But to stage your own death scene.
Talk about post-traumatic stress. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm glad that he is okay. DBL is live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, Tori goes one-on-one with the first winner of Donald Trump's apprentice, Bill Rancic. He'll share his new mission inspired by his wife, Juliana, and her courageous cancer battle. Then whip out your sunscreen and bathing suit, because today's the day we give away our luxury vacation to a beautiful Sandals resort. Don't you dare change the channel. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Forget traditional caskets and cremations. Washington State is leading the way in a new kind of burial, but it might not be for everyone. Your comments are next. Okay. We are live. Okay, so, yes, we're getting in some comments right here. Evil comes in all forms. It does not discriminate. And it's scary. To Stephanie's point, when evil, yes, it comes in many forms, but when evil also somehow manipulates the system to place themselves, to capitalize on those situations, like she said, whether it's a priest and pedophilia, whether it be a coach and molestation, whether it be a police officer trying to get away with a crime, let alone murder, let alone a child, because the hit was not only on this woman, this man, but his teen son. I can't imagine.
No. I think it's so scary. And you know what? It's a really great book, and it really changed the way I see people and the human race in general. It's a book by Paul Britton. He was actually the man that created psychological criminal profiling, and he worked with the police.
I love stuff.
And he has two different books. One of them is called The Jigsaw Man, and it really goes in depth into like the different ways in which these people think, how they were brought up, what circumstances led them into these different horrific scenarios and mind processes. So honestly, I would greatly recommend you read it, and it will change your perception on so many different things.
There's another one called Are You a Sociopath, or Finding Out If You're a Sociopath. It's by the guy who wrote If You Staring at Goats, Men Who Stare at Goats, and it's a test, the psychopath test, and it's John Roth, I think, and you can take the psychopath
I will
test.
do the test.
It's actually really interesting, and I thought, I might be on the edge. You can clearly see when you start to divide, where you realize someone has no empathy and someone who does. So
also, I think there's different. There's like psychopaths are often
different than socio. Right. You're
psychopaths are portrayed as being these really awful, horrendous people due to the media because of the movie.
Hannibal Lecter. What is it?
No, the one where she was in the shower and she got killed.
Oh, Psycho.
Psycho. Actually, it doesn't. It's not always a bad thing. So don't
clump it all together. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Washington State will be the first in the country to allow human remains to be composted. This natural organic process mixes bodies with wood chips and straw, ultimately turning the deceased person into dirt in just a matter of weeks. Experts say it's better for the environment and gives purpose to what happens to our bodies after death. So DBL Nation, would you pass on a traditional burial or cremation to be composted instead? I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. Shane from Facebook says, I hope this will now give credence to getting rid of graveyards. They're a waste of space that could serve better purposes, like a parking lot. But I just look at this. I know you guys love this, but I look at this as something where it's like, I worry about the bad in this. Could people start mixing in drugs or something to try and grow some sort of marijuana? I saw it in the movie How High.
What conspiracy?
And then let's say it's like someone's grandfather who their family loves and they want to make him into a tree. What if that grandfather was a pedophile or something? Someone's going to come down, chop down that tree. I just worry about
those are aberrations.
Those are really like 0.0001% of maybe possibly that may be happening, but okay.
How many .00s?
A lot of .00s. 9. I think there was 10. Susan from Facebook says, I know it's more natural, but it's also kind of creepy. I don't think I'd want my mom in my roses or my tomatoes. So if you guys don't know this, the Jewish tradition is you have to be buried within 3 days in a very plain pine box. The idea is no decorations, no metal. The idea is you go back into the earth. And I really love this idea. And I think I researched it. It came from an architecture graduate student from University of Massachusetts. Katrina Spade. And she came up with what farmers are composting and realized we could do the same and save the environment with less formaldehyde. And how nice is it to
the formaldehyde, yeah, I agree, but the formaldehyde for burials,
right,
and then the carbon dioxide for cremation.
Exactly.
So it's a double whammy there for the environment. It's not good.
It's not good.
Ashley from Facebook says, I believe that once you're dead, your soul has left its body. Let the dead nourish the earth. I hope my kids do this with me once I'm dead.
Oh, beautiful, Ashley.
Ashley, I agree. I believe that your body is simply a carrier. Like when you get in your car, it takes you to a destination and you get out and you move on. Same thing with your body.
Stephanie.
But I think that this is a really beautiful thing because you've got to think about the energy that goes into a coffin and a burial. So obviously there's the materials, there's the metal that holds the coffin together. If it's reinforced, there's concrete, and then there's a synthetic padding as well. So when you're actually getting buried into the earth, there's a lot of elements that can't go in the earth or take hundreds and hundreds of years to decompose.
She's right.
So this is a really beautiful way of giving back to the earth and going back to really where we came from.
I 100% agree. I love this so much. I hope I can have this option no matter what state I reside in when I do pass away. I hope I have this option because not only do I love it for all the reasons you stated with the environment and being able to be a tree, but also it's the least expensive option. So you have families who are strapped with, if you're buried, it's anywhere between $8,000 and $25,000 to carry out that burial. If you want cremation, it's $6,000. If you want composting, it's less than $5,000. Wow. So it's also the most economic option and also the most environmentally sound. You got my vote.
Yeah, I like it.
Did we convince you?
You're about 0.00001% off of convincing me, but I'll take it.
Good one, full circle. But thank you for writing in. We love hearing from you, DBL Nation. Coming up on DBL, the moment you waited all month for, we reveal the winner of the Sandals Dream Vacation. And next, you know him as the first winner of The Apprentice, but now Bill Rancic is dedicating his life to healthcare. We'll tell you how you can get involved and save a life when we come back.
Are you one of
Okay, what's going on, DBL Nation? Let's get to some of you guys' comments. A lot of you have been writing in, happy hump day. Is it me or does it feel like this week is going by so slow? Maybe it's because we have a 3-day weekend and we got the comment of the year, sensitivity training, which I need a lot of.
Yes, you do.
Says, I like Brandon's jacket. Very stylish. Can I be honest?
What?
Can I be honest?
Yeah, say it.
This was $19 at the clearance rack in the Macy's at 34th Street in New York.
You look awesome in
19
that.
bucks.
I worked at that Macy's.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
I thought I walked by you one time.
I was like, hey. No, it looks fantastic. Get a close-up, John.
I just love being
Some camo, different blues and indigos, I would say. And it's paired nicely with this bright splash of color for that pocket square. Do you know what I'm saying? I, on the other hand, am a bridesmaid in a South Carolina wedding.
Do a turn.
Dun, 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 dun.
Would you like some sweet tea?
Would you like some sweet? Why am I doing Stephanie's voice?
Would you like?
Would you like some sweet tea?
Yeah, there we
So
go.
thank you for this. It's from Rent the Runway, and I'm trying it out because it gives me a waist.
Okay, so back to the really quick on the compost. Stephen George says the spirit will live on forever. So, how do you want to be?
I like this idea.
You like this
I like
idea?
sitting by a tree and talking to my grandma or my mom or me or my. That's a lovely image. I get it.
Okay.
The
Well-
drug, and also if you're buried in a drug marijuana plant, maybe that's okay. Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Bill Rancic, the first winner of Donald Trump's reality show, The Apprentice, is on a mission to help people battling cancer. He became a caregiver to his wife, entertainment journalist Juliana Rancic, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2011. Earlier, I had the chance to talk to Bill about how his life experiences inspired him to make an impact on the medical world. He explains what you can do to be a part of the movement in today's DBL Spotlight. Bill Rancic, thank you so much for joining Daily Blast Live. You are joined by Mark Reisenauer from Estella's Oncology, who helped inspire a movement to help those battling cancer. Now, it's called the C3 Prize Program, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first, Bill, I want to start with you. I'm a caregiver to someone in my family who's ill, and a lot of our DBL Nation are caregivers. Tell us what it was like when Juliana was diagnosed with cancer, and how is she doing now that she kicked its butt and she's in remission?
Well, as you know, I mean, whenever you hear the words you have cancer, it's devastating.
Yeah.
And I think no one ever expects it to happen to them, and Juliana was no different. She was in her mid-30s, she had no family history of breast cancer, and when the doctors told her she had cancer, we were both stunned.
Oh my God.
But we decided, you know what, we're going to use this negative for a positive, and we're going to use our platform wisely, and we're going to go out and help as many people as we can. And
everyone we know knows someone who's been impacted by cancer. Mark, your father battled cancer as well. What is the best way to support a loved one who is going through it?
It was interesting. I think every patient has both similar and different experiences, and it's really trying to get in touch with what are they dealing with, and then just trying to adapt to see how you can help.
All right, Bill, talk to us about your involvement in the C3 Prize program and explain how it's already changing lives. I think this is an incredible program.
The C3 Prize program, it stands for Changing Cancer Care. And what we're looking for are people to go out and submit their next big idea in non-treatment options in cancer care. So whether it's arranging transportation to and from the doctor, no idea is too big or small, we're going to be granting up to $200,000 away, which is absolutely spectacular. As an entrepreneur, I know that money can go a long way.
I know your recent winner was someone who taught about breast cancer in Nigeria. How did you guys come up with opening it to everybody?
What became clear is that there were so many different obstacles and challenges that were going to require a lot of different solutions, and we certainly didn't have all the answers.
Right.
And as we thought about it, it really lent itself to a contest. When you look at all the submissions, we find incredible ideas in how to improve cancer care.
Way to go to open it up and get all those perspectives. Now, speaking of contests, Bill, so many people know you from The Apprentice, Donald Trump's show before he became president.
It was in the early stages of reality television. So when I first was asked to come on, I didn't know what I was getting into. And who would have thought 25 million people a week would be watching?
I was.
And it turned out to be, you know, one of the #1 shows in all-time history of television. So for me, it was a life-changing experience.
I'm so happy to hear from you guys. Thank you for taking the time. You guys are both making a huge difference. Our audience thanks you. I thank you.
Thanks, Tori.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tori.
For more information on how you can help change cancer care, visit c3prize.com. Remember, anybody can apply. Up next on DBL, we're announcing the winner of our Sandals luxury vacation to the Caribbean. The lucky viewer could be you. Don't go away.
You guys, DBL Nation, I've been getting a couple challenges. How fast can you do your makeup? And today we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna start right away right now with a little bit of Tatcha Eye Pro Cream. This guy is going to help for brightening. This is what I use every single day instead of a concealer. It's gonna make sure that I look nice and awoke underneath my eyes. Quick and easy way for anyone at home that doesn't wanna use a concealer to still get a hydrated and brightened finish and actually get some skincare in their makeup. This isn't just a concealer, it's an eye cream once again with a tint. I wear the shade Candlelight from Tatcha Harper, but you guys let me know what you use. Now next, I'm going to use Kosas Facial Oil Foundation. This is amazing if you live in a dry climate like myself here in Colorado. And I'm gonna take this foundation, I'm gonna put it onto a powder brush, and this is great for spreading out coverage. I actually got this trick from my husband, Ty J Banks, I see you out there. And you're gonna just get this even hydrated glow for your foundation. Is this for camera? Probably not, but great for everyday wear if you're working in an office, if you're working just anywhere except for in front of a camera, you should totally have this foundation. I got this about 3 weeks ago and it stays on my skin all day. And notice I'm working with makeup all day as well. I get hot, I get nice and warm through the day, I'm moving around, and still this foundation goes all over my skin beautifully. I barely even have to look at it and it looks like butter, guys. So that's gonna be my Kosas Foundation Oil. Next up, I'm gonna take a little bit of a loose powder foundation and we're gonna blend this guy all over to set that foundation. Now, you might be asking, why are you gonna put a powder on top of foundation or on top of an oil if you're dry? I still wanna set it. I don't want this guy to move all over my skin, so the powder is going to help to make sure that it's gonna stay locked and loaded all day so I have a beautiful appearance, but I still have that smooth glow, okay? Now next here, I'm gonna take a little bit of a cream blush from Too Faced Cosmetics. This is from their Peach collection. And this is a matte cream blush to give me a little bit of color on my cheeks, y'all. Now, on my next step here, I have a little bit of a ColourPop blush and eyeshadow duo. Yes, I am using an eyeshadow for my blush, guys. And to top it out, we're taking a little bit of Too Faced highlighter. And that is a full slay from Jure for the Slay in under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Let me know if your guys' thoughts are, and we'll see you next time, DBL Nation.
Welcome back to DBL. Get ready to pack your bags because it is time to announce the winner of the Sandals Resort Luxury Included Vacation to the Caribbean. Oh. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. The winner is Jennifer Newman from Columbia, South Carolina. Jennifer watches us on WLTX19. We love our DBL Nation. Congratulations, Jennifer. Enjoy that trip.
Now,
does
that
she
is
get a plus one?
Are you volunteering?
Yes, I would love to go to Sandals and wear sandals.
You're ridiculous.
That is seriously going to be a once-in-a-lifetime dream vacation.
Like, how itchy are you? If you guys don't know, we are out of Denver. It's snowing, or it snowed yesterday.
Yeah, there's snow on the ground.
It's snow on the ground. I need that so
I almost want to like live through her. Can she send us pics?
Yes.
Can you tag us?
Yes.
Yeah, don't forget to tag us. Okay, congrats to you. We'll see you all same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.